Welcome to the fun of making movies on video. Besides a camera for shooting and a computer for editing, you will need to know the basic terminology of video production. Let's get started. A treatment is a summary of the plot or description of what will be seen in a movie that you plan to make. It may be as short as just a paragraph or two, or for a feature film or long video, it could be several pages. A script is far more than a treatment. It describes every shot and every word of dialogue. A script is to movie making what blueprints are to constructing a building. The script for a video is usually 2 columns on each page. The left column is for shots and any other visual information. The right column is for descriptions of music, sound effects, dialogue, and voiceovers. Some video scripts include a 3rd column on the left margin. That column is usually included in scripts for television commercials because timing is critical in a 30-second TV spot. A storyboard is a series of drawings that enables the director to convey to his or her crew how every shot is to be composed and the action to be included in each shot. A shot is what your camera captures from the time you press the camera's record button until you stop capturing image in the camera by pressing that record button again. Another way of defining a shot is an unbroken on-screen image within an edited movie. When that image first appears on screen, the shot begins. When it is replaced by a different image, that is when the shot ends. A series of shots, one after another, is called a sequence. Here is a sequence that begins with a character awaiting the arrival of a package and then his receiving that package.
Delivery.
An establishing shot shows the setting, the time and place for a movie sequence. The establishing shot normally is the first shot or one of the very first shots of any given sequence. Full shot. A full shot shows a person from head to toe, his or her full body. A medium shot shows a person from about mid-leg or hips up to the top of his or her head. A close-up of a person is from about mid-chest to the top of the head. An extreme close-up is a very close image of just part of someone's body, such as a hand to show something that he or she is holding. When the camera looks down on a scene, we have a high-angle shot. A low-angle shot is when the camera looks upward. Anytime your camera is below the eye level of a character, that character is going to look more powerful. A shot featuring just one person is a one-shot. A shot featuring 2 people is a 2-shot. A special kind of 2-shot is called the over-the-shoulder 2-shot. It is often used in interviews and other dialogue sequences. You look over the shoulder of one person into the face of the other. Let's put some of these shots together into a sequence. Often it is visually more interesting to move your camera rather than to just let it sit stationary. Here are some camera moves. A pan is when the camera swivels from one side to the other. Do not pan too fast, as that can make your audience feel queasy. Pan slowly so that the audience can anchor its eyes on various elements along the way. Even better, let the audience lock its attention on some visual element, such as the tumbleweed in this panning shot. The tilt is what we get when the camera swivels upward or downward. Tilt slowly to avoid a strobe effect. Sometimes we want the audience to move along with some character or object in a scene. That is called tracking. And sometimes we just want to track through an environment. A dolly in is the movement of the camera toward a subject. A dolly out is just the reverse of a dolly in. A zoom is a lens effect achieved by shifting the focal length. The camera itself does not move, only the optics inside the lens move. Now, although a zoom and a dolly may look similar to an untrained eye, they're actually very different and look different on the screen. Here is a zoom in. Now, let's see it again with a simultaneous dolly in. They look different. The dolly truly shows perspective as we pass objects along the way. Differently, the zoom is basically just a narrowing or widening of the camera's field of view. We narrow it when we zoom in. We widen the field of view when we zoom out. Rack focus. This is a technique that makes use of limited depth of field to shift the attention of the audience from one subject to another. We're actually just shifting our focus from a faraway subject to a close-up subject, from a close-up subject to a faraway subject. Slow motion. This is when we slow down the action to an unnatural speed. Screen direction. Whenever an object moves across the video screen from right side to left side, it is said to be moving screen left. Whenever an object moves toward the right side of the screen, it is said to be moving screen right. There is a convention that has to do with screen direction that is very important because if we don't follow it, we can get in trouble with our audience. Whenever an airplane is shown going eastward, it is shown moving screen right. So if an airplane is supposedly flying from Los Angeles to New York, it better be headed toward the right side of the screen. The 180-degree rule. This is a convention of camera setup that helps us avoid confusing our audience. Now, this rule states that the camera must not cross an imaginary line between the camera and the performers. An actor who has been shown to be on the left side of the frame should stay there in subsequent shots. If the camera were to cross the imaginary line, that is, break the 180-degree rule, then the actors would suddenly switch their positions on the screen. That could be momentarily confusing to the audience and is generally considered bad filmmaking. In most film schools, so much emphasis is placed on creating images that sound is neglected. But bad sound is never okay. Here are a few terms that are used in sound in video making. Ambient sound. Ambient sound is the background sound that is often referred to as room tone. Imagine a spring scene without hearing the sound of birds and little crickets or whatever. Imagine a sequence on a beach and not hearing the waves breaking. You are hearing my voice without actually seeing my image. This is called a voiceover. It is the voice of an off-screen narrator. Whenever you see someone on screen talking, that's dialogue.
You have done well. Whatever you do, aim for the heavens.
Whenever we add sounds to a scene sometime after shooting the picture, we are adding sound effects. We do this during the editing process. Imagine this scene without sound effects. That's not good. Whenever we put together a series of shots sequentially, we are editing one shot followed by another. Altogether, they convey a message. In this case, the message is, a cut is the most basic of all editing transitions, an instantaneous change from one image to another. Fade in. This is when the scene begins with a blank screen and the image appears gradually on the screen. Dissolve. A dissolve is a gradual change from one shot to another by simultaneously fading out the first shot and fading in the next one. The dissolve usually indicates a change in time and/or place. Wipe. There are a lot of different wipes available to video editors. The most basic wipe is called a linear wipe. It looks like this. Superimposition. We superimpose words over a shot, as I have done throughout this video. Sometimes we suddenly stop the action for dramatic effect. That is called a freeze frame. We generally shoot a lot more material than we use in the final film or video. The shots that are not used in the final version are called outtakes. Every video maker deserves to put his or her name on the screen. A name on the screen is called a credit. Here is my credit. And credits for companies whose music was licensed to use in this video. So get your camera, call some friends, and make a video.